And welcome back to the Factor Uncensored. You've probably heard the theories out there that 5G may be causing or related to the cause of the coronavirus. Even famed actor Woody Harrelson sent out a tweet causing a lot of people to believe what some are calling a conspiracy theory. Now, a man who's been working on this issue for several years, and I interviewed him last year about it, is Derrick Broze of Houston, who is now taking shelter in Mexico. You're in Mexico. Why are you in Mexico, Derrick?
Quite honestly, Isiah, I'm not comfortable with being locked down or quarantined, and I decided to come to Mexico to be with some friends and some family. And we're looking for some land out here and just kind of watching things from a distance. Things are a little more calm in Mexico. We're able to move around and get out there.
Now, let's get down to this 5G and the conspiracy theory that's out there. Many people saying that it may be related to the cause of the coronavirus. Your position on that?
Unfortunately, there's a lot of bad information floating around online, as I'm sure any of the viewers are aware. There are lots of false claims. There are lots of people who simply don't trust the media, don't trust the CDC, the WHO, and others, and so that leads to speculation. I do not believe 5G is causing the coronavirus. I do not believe they're the same thing. I've been doing quite a bit of reporting on this recently. Unfortunately, as you said, I've covered this for a couple of years, and there are legitimate concerns related to 5G, but they're kind of getting mixed up in this whole argument or this whole debate around the theory. And I think it's important for people to be able to pull apart the facts from fiction. The facts are that there are concerns about 5G. There are negative health effects that have been considered. There's surveillance issues. There was a brand new study that's just published called Adverse Health Effects of 5G Mobile Networking Technology, showing some of these problems, but they don't relate to the coronavirus. And there's a lot of holes in those theories. I will say that some legitimate concerns relate to the immune system. Some of EMF exposure studies have shown that your immune system can be compromised from exposure to EMFs like 5G, Wi-Fi, et cetera. So maybe under those circumstances, your immune system could be weak and you could be more susceptible to a virus or an illness, but they are not one and the same thing.
When you take a look at 5G and the non-ionization rate or radiation that comes from it, it's the equivalent to a light. And so how could it cause health problems? And how could we know so soon? Because it's just being rolled out in various communities in various cities. So there's not enough time just yet to know the damage, if any, that it could cause.
So the industry, the wireless industry, has admitted in front of Congress that they have not funded any independent studies of 5G technology specifically, but we have studies already existing, like the National Toxicology Program study from 2018 from the U.S. government, which found that 2G and 3G led to an increase in tumors and rats, brain and heart tumors. We have plenty of evidence that the existing technology that we're already surrounding ourselves with can cause harm. And there's a big debate around whether non-ionizing means safe. Of course, most of us learn that non-ionizing side of the spectrum means that it's safe, it can't harm you. But again, there's a wealth of evidence for those who go look at the studies themselves and maybe not just listen to what they're told that shows that that's not true.
All right, Derrick Broze, we want to thank you for coming on The Factor Uncensored, and enjoy your time in Mexico, and come on back home to Houston.
I'll see you soon, Isiah.
All right, thank you, and we'll be back with more Factor Uncensored in just a moment. Stay with us.
Hey guys, it's Derrick Broze here. You just watched an interview on Fox 26 with Isiah Carey, the Isiah Factor Uncensored. And for those of you who've been following my work for a while, you've probably recognized him. He's interviewed me, I think this is maybe the third or fourth time. He interviewed me right before I ran for mayor. He interviewed me during my campaign for mayor. And then I think one time after that, before I left Houston, and now here again. So I was thankful he reached out for the interview. But unfortunately, the interview was edited, and I did not save it or record it on my end of things, so I can't show you that. But I just want to say before I tell you what was taken out that this is not the first time that during my mayoral campaign, I actually had to pressure Isiah Carey and mention that, hey, you know, you're legally required, for whatever that's worth, by the FCC to give equal time to all candidates. And so he was one of the local media that I had to pressure into covering me. And he was very short with me and really didn't want to talk with me much. But he has let me talk about 5G going on 3 different times now, specifically about 5G. This time, though, where the interview ends, what he asked me after that was, about the 5G towers being burned down. And I just did a video on this, so you guys kind of know my thoughts. But what I told him was, look, I can understand why people are frustrated. There's corruption from the federal level to the state level to the local level. The FCC is completely controlled by the telecom lobby, by big wireless, and this extends all the way to the city of Houston. And he said, so what, you're not saying it justifies destruction of private property? And I said, no, I'm not saying it justifies it, but I can understand why people are frustrated. Then he mentioned the fact that I ran for mayor and that a big part of my campaign was on slowing down the 5G rollout. And he asked and he also mentioned that I went to city council to speak about 5G. And he asked if anybody had ever supported me. And if you've seen the videos, you know that there was Councilmember Christie, former council member now, Councilmember Greg Travis. These people did speak up publicly, a couple people privately. But what I told them was ultimately, the reason I didn't gain any traction is because the mayor position in Houston is one of the strongest in the country, and this is actually one of the reasons I ran, to try to take away the power of the mayor, to make it more decentralized. And in Houston, the mayor was awarded the 5G Wireless Champion Award. For those of you who've seen my documentary, The 5G Trojan Horse, you've seen all this. But so I mentioned that, that corruption that I just discussed, it extends all the way to Houston. And both of those questions were cut out. It could be for time. I mean, the interview was only 3 minutes and 40 seconds. I'm sure they could have fit another minute in there. But they didn't. And unfortunately, I didn't record it on my side. But I just wanted to let you guys hear that. I appreciate you watching this interview. And thank you for for supporting all my work and my efforts to wake people up to 5G. If you need to get educated on it, please do check out the studies I mentioned in the interview you just heard. And check out my documentary, The 5G Trojan Horse. Until next time, you are powerful. You are beautiful, and you are free. Peace.